The fifth church.
This church is to other churches what clowns are to people. There are some superficial similarities, but all the wrong things are being emphasized and exaggerated, so you can't quite put your finger on what is wrong.
Sure, it isn't out to get you, but what does it mean? Why is it there? What happens if it calls to you, Doctor?
Overview.
The Fifth Church, also known as the Church of Fifthism or the Fifthist Fellowship, is a highly secretive religious organization which possesses ties throughout the entertainment industry.
Despite repeated investigations, culminating in the 2007 nationwide sting known as Operation Stargazer, no further details regarding its doctrines, its practices, its number of members, or its goals have been confirmed. Although a watch list is maintained of 100 confirmed and suspected Fifthist celebrities and other prominent personalities.
Its origins have been placed in varying points in the mid-20th century and various locations in North America and Asia, but some sources have dated it to centuries earlier. The Fifth Church has never communicated directly with the SCP Foundation, but is to be considered a hostile force.
1, 2, 3, 4. You and me should take a trip across the galaxy and feel the waves of our own energy. Everything will come together slowly, quietly. You and me will float through eternity. We'll stay up all night and wonder about where we've been and where we'll go, what we've seen and what we'll know, guided by the lights above us. So you and me, vessels on an open sea. You and me, I wanna be there with you to see it all within you, becoming a part of everything. You and me have seen the planets dancing around merrily. I dreamt about those far-off things that cannot help but make us sing about the beauty of the skies and how we want to live our lives. You and me, we'll finish our time here one day eventually, and when we're gone they'll look up here, see us grinning ear to ear. They'll follow us to heaven's arms, so infinitely greater, something that surpasses all our hopes and dreams. You and me, vessels on an open sea. You and me, I wanna be there with you to see it all within you, becoming a part of everything. I don't want you to think that this is just a passing thought. I've dreamt about it ever since the day you came and caught my heart. I'll give you this eternity, I'll keep it by your side, so I can be there with you when you lay down and die. But don't weep for me, darling, there's nothing left to fear. I'm out here dancing with the stars, and soon you'll be here too. You and me, vessels on an open sea. You and me, I wanna be there with you to see it all within you, becoming a part of everything. You and me, vessels on an open sea. You and me, I wanna be there with you to see it all within you, becoming a part of
Gamers Against Weed. Overview.
Gamers Against Weed is a loosely organized confederation of anomalous individuals, as well as associates thereof, that produce or procure anomalies for satirical purposes and/or for their own amusement.
More recently, however, they have also been implicated in supplying anomalies to left-wing political organizations.
While Gamers Against Weed organizes its activities primarily over internet channels, several real-world locations associated with the group have been identified and raided.
Current intelligence suggests that Gamers Against Weed is in the process of creating and distributing a set of anomalous humanoids to parody Dr. Wondertiment's Little Mister series, and that it is aware of the Foundation's operations, if not its exact nature. Detainment of Gamers Against Weed's members has proven more difficult than anticipated.
Some of the group's organizers are believed to possess reality-altering capabilities, either in their own right or through access to outside resources.
Current operations are focused on the containment of related anomalies and the identification and analysis of Gamers Against Weed's most dangerous members.
The Global Occult Coalition.
Overview.
The GOC was created in the aftermath of World War II, from the remnants of defecting occultists, psychics, priests, and scientists from Nazi, Soviet, and Allied states, brought together and formed by the Allies. As the world stage broadened, so too did the number of countries that had their hands in the GOC, until it became what it is today. The GOC are a largely political force, seeing themselves as the police of the paranormal world. They pride themselves on destroying supernatural entities, and make use of the most high-tech experimental technology possible obtained from their benefactors.
Many potential SCPs have been destroyed by them before the Foundation could obtain and contain them.
They have been both on the side of the Foundation and against it at times, depending on the situation.
They largely hold the Foundation in contempt for their use and containment of SCP items rather than their out-and-out destruction.
The GOC has respected the Foundation's formidable might enough to leave it mostly alone, although there have been some questionable incidents with which the GOC have strictly denied involvement. Agents of the GOC are to be treated with suspicion. About the GOC. The Global Occult Coalition was a group of interest created by Cain Pathers Crow in the early days of the SCP Foundation wiki, inspired by a creepypasta about how the Soviet Red Army killed God in the 1950s. It postulated the existence of a separate, but equally powerful, force in the paranormal world. If the SCP Foundation was dedicated to finding, capturing, and containing paranormal objects, the Coalition would be dedicated to a much different, more direct approach: outright destruction of the paranormal. Since then, the concept has been refined somewhat into the current iteration. The Global Occult Coalition is now intended to be an openly political organization, taking actions that affect the world stage. Seen in that light, their policy of destruction of paranormal objects differs from the SCP Foundation's. If the Foundation are the jailers, then the Coalition are the executioners.
But like any executioner, they cannot act without the permission of a judge and jury. The United Nations Secret Council of 108.
Global Occult Coalition stories take their inspiration from any number of fictional works about global conspiracies that secretly control the world. The Laundry series by Charles Stross, Delta Green and Call of Cthulhu by Chaosium, the Illuminators trilogy, Mike Mignola's Hellboy, etc.
With a strong dose of Tom Clancy-style modern-day action thriller.
There is still a horror element, but the focus is no longer on the things that lurk in the darkness, but on the people who watch over us in the night. Greezeburger Incorporated. Overview. I know you're watching. You're looking for something to read, aren't you?
I wish I could read.
I can't do anything else either. I'm stuck here, warped into just a few sorry little bundles of information designed to advertise the people who made me this way.
Greezeburger Incorporated. That merry bunch.
I used to be a salesman for them, you know.
Before I fucked up and got turned into whatever this paragraph is, it was the happiest time of my life, and I just didn't know it.
I even had the classic get-up, dress shirt with striped suspenders, a straw boat, or even shoes in so much I could see my toothy grin in them if the sun hit them right.
I don't have any of that now. Not since I flushed my dream sail down the toilet.
All I have is this space on the page, right here, and just a few sentences of space to lure in new customers to the Greezeburger literary universe. And that's that.
Have fun reading.
Jimmy Grease, salesman extraordinaire.
Background.
In 2019, thousands of educational videos used within the American public school system were spontaneously replaced with a documentary film detailing the origins of a multidimensional megacorporation known as Greezeburger Incorporated. Due to the surreal, vaguely humorous, and outright anomalous content featured within the film, both the video itself and its subsequent distribution were believed to be a project coordinated by individuals affiliated with the anomalous art organization AWCY. However, almost a year later, Greezeburger Incorporated was revealed to be a legitimate corporate entity when they suddenly commandeered a former Walmart supercenter from another third-party corporate entity that had claimed the location several months prior. While the exact circumstances behind this bizarre scenario are still unknown, this event sparked Greezeburger's presence and involvement in this dimension. Since then, Greezeburger Incorporated has been involved in numerous attempts to sell miscellaneous products to the general public and subveil customers alike.
Overview. Due to Greezeburger's status as an interdimensional megacorporation, it is almost impossible to gain significant information about the exact size and scope of their influence.
However, several key pieces of information have been obtained as a result of the released documentary and the unusually talkative manner present in most Greezeburger employees. All individuals employed by Greezeburger are cloned from the apparent founder and owner, Ebenezer Grease, and possess two-syllable first names in addition to the Grease family name.
While members of the Grease family share almost identical genetic code, various alterations, cosmetic or functional in nature, provide them with varying degrees of anomalous enhancements or physical variations not included in the standard genome. Greezeburger's involvement in this dimension is managed by Greezeburger Earth, a subsidiary company operated by Martin Grease.
Notably, they receive limited support from their parent company, leading Greezeburger Earth to construct partnerships with third-party sources. Despite Greezeburger's evident origins as a fast food chain, Greezeburger Earth's products are extremely varied. This is largely a result of their extraordinarily unprofessional and chaotic behavior, which is suspected to also continue within Greezeburger at large. Most of Greezeburger and Greezeburger Earth's goals seem to center around the production of grease juice, a liquid substance that can apparently be created by mixing various potent anomalous ingredients together.
The exact purpose of the substance is unknown, and an actual recipe seems to be non-existent, with a selection of ingredients relying on personal opinion.
Currently, no grease juice samples have been obtained.
Greezeburger employees that are considered valuable are subject to genetic duplication in event of death or departure from the company, and are replaced with near-identical copies of the original. As a result, important Greezeburger staff are functionally immortal. Background.
In the year 2019, when our glorious footfalls first trod heavy on the green grass of planet Earth, we had a mission that started when we learned of the inhabitants' ignorance and unawareness of the glorious grease to our shock. We produced videos of knowledge, telling the story of our grease and gifted them to the education systems of all nearby. However, our attempts at enlightenment were thwarted by an organization dedicated to keeping the masses free from the grasp of entities like us, known locally as the SCP Foundation.
A few minutes later, we lost funding for the cultish corporate subtext department, and I had to finish writing this myself. Overview.
The SCP Foundation is a secret society of neckbeard recluses who don't like people to have fun.
Below is a full glossary of all the mean terms we thought was appropriate to describe them.
Due to the Foundation's badness and stinkiness, they are not to be trusted. The Foundation's involvement with Earth is managed by O5 Council, a clandestine panel of edgy former theater kids who hand out dramatic code names for absolutely no reason.
They often like to make references to classical literature, notably ignoring a cornerstone text like the Greezeburger Holiday Catalog.
The Foundation doesn't understand that we here at Greezeburger are a family, presumably because they all got banned from their respective families' Thanksgiving parties after they ranted about their radical anti-Greezeburger conspiracy theories, leading Grandma Josie, who made a living as a professional boxer in her youth, and was always a progressive, open-minded individual ever since her father disappeared in the coal mines and mother had to take over the family fruit stand to knock them out of the house and into the snow with her signature brass knuckle special.
Yes, this happened to everyone.
The Foundation also can't seem to understand that maybe not everybody wants to work in fast food, and we here at Greezeburger are allowed to pursue our dreams without being judged. The Foundation wants to interrupt our production of grease because they don't eat food or drink and absorb nutrients through making people's days miserable. The Foundation will also soak your socks with mayo if you are caught.
This is a very real fact.
These are all very real facts. Martin Grease. Greezeburger Investigation Team. While Greezeburger currently possesses a potentially global reach, the O5 Council suspects that Greezeburger is currently too incompetent to significantly impact day-to-day civilian life, and as such Greezeburger does not have any major department associated with its containment. Instead, a smaller team of researchers and doctors across various fields have been assembled to document and study suspected Greezeburger products upon discovery, and find long-term containment solutions for often unstable items or locations produced by the corporate entity.
Known employees. Founding Greases.
Seamus Grease deceased, the original founder of the Greezeburger Corporation on a parallel Earth.
According to the Greezeburger story documentary, Seamus was petrified shortly after creating Ebenezer Grease through asexual reproduction. Ebenezer Grease, the current CEO and owner of Greezeburger Incorporated.
Information obtained on Ebenezer is extremely vague and also unlikely to be accurate due to Greezeburger's perception of Ebenezer as a divine entity or created god. Greezeburger Earth Management. Martin Grease, the CEO of Greezeburger Earth and Poi 792, regularly spearheads operations to sell Greezeburger products on Earth and is usually unsuccessful due to their excitement in communicating their upcoming business ventures to Foundation employees.
Chester Grease manages advertising campaigns for Greezeburger Earth, but is notably flawed at their occupation even by Greezeburger standards, and are not considered a legitimate risk to the Vale as a result.
Roger Grease clan deceased, found deceased after an SCP-6951 event.
Due to their importance in the Greezeburger hierarchy as a stenographer, they were most likely duplicated beforehand to ensure continual employment.
Footnotes.
1. While research on the exact characteristics or occupation of valuable employees for Greezeburger Incorporated is pending, the assumption is that management, legal, and human resources staff are considered valuable. 2.
Death and departure from Greezeburger Incorporated functionally possess the same meaning, as employees who willingly depart from Greezeburger or attempt to do so are executed.
3.
Holy be the greasy fire. Blessed be Greezeburger. Gifts upon the righteous from upon upper corporate high, and may the coupons be everlasting. 4.
Blessed be him, the creator enlightened omnipotent Ebenezer. May he bless us.
5. SCP is the banner of the super-communist people, and will slaughter bureaucracy at all costs. 6.
Citation needed.
G.R.U Division P.
Overview.
Originally known as the CHDAKN, or 4th Department Abnormal Occurrences Commission, it was established in early 1935 by direct decree of J.P. Stalin, its first task being the investigation of the murder of S.M. Kirov during World War II. The commission expanded into the newly reorganized G.R.U as Division P Psychotronics, working to counteract anomalous threats from the SS, Arnonep, and the Vatican, and to capture and study anomalous artifacts both at home and abroad for the benefit of the Soviet government. Division P has carried on with this role throughout the Cold War, making Foundation operations in the countries of the Comintern difficult. After 1991, rapid restructuring, coupled with budget cuts and the decommissioning or sale of significant assets, resulted in numerous defections of their personnel. A significant proportion of both Chaos Insurgency and MC&D operatives in Eastern Europe originated from G.R.U Division P ranks, and the flooding of the European black market with anomalous items formerly in their possession. Currently, this group of interest poses little direct threat to the Foundation. On the operation of G.R.U.P. Organizational Guidelines of P Division of the Main Intelligence Directorate, by order of the Section Head of 9th Directorate of G.R.U.N.R. 28 from 19. 3. 1982. Base aims of P Division G.R.U. Article 4. 1 Division P.G.R.U. shares overall aims with its superorganization as per order of the Head Committee of G.R.U.N.R.
13 1965. These include discovering, obtaining or neutralizing foreign technologic developments that could endanger USSR and broadly
the states of the Socialist International, their citizenry, or its overall political, economic, military, and scientific aims. The activity of P Division G.R.U is aimed at suppressing hostile abnormal activities within the states of the Socialist International, documenting abnormal phenomena, and researching means of their use in furthering the overall aims of the organization.
2 Division PGRU fulfills chiefly these goals.
A. Gathering intelligence data in designated countries of interest regarding the aims, means and procedure of governments, groups, organizations, or individuals hostile towards USSR or otherwise deemed dangerous,
specifically where these possess or exploit abnormal means as defined in order of 4th Department Abnormal Occurrences Commission Chairman N.R.
19 1938's classification of abnormal activity. B.
Checking, analyzing and processing information regarding abnormal occurrences within and without USSR territory.
I.
Neutralizing or containing hostile abnormal occurrences within USSR territory.
3. Researching abnormal occurrences within and without USSR territory in order to bring about their exploitation and use to further organizational goals. 4.
Identifying and obtaining access to abnormal phenomenon with a high estimated economic, military, scientific, or political value, especially if in possession of hostile organizations or individuals.
5. Identifying and recruiting or eliminating individuals with knowledge of abnormal occurrences where such is suitable with regards to overall organizational aims.
C. Enacting secret operations and actions in line with overall organizational aims, but specifically aimed at ensuring the continuation of USSR, its political leadership and citizenry, promoting peace, disrupting or uncovering hostile enemy activity.
Disrupting or uncovering spontaneous hostile activity, furthering the aims of USSR and the states of the Socialist International in areas political, ideological, and economic through abnormal means.
I.
Cooperation with the Institute of Experimental Marxism-Leninism aimed at furthering political developments within the world, so as to further the social advancement towards the establishment of a communist society.
2. Continued limited cooperation with non-allied foreign organizations, namely SAC and Bolivar, in order to prevent the spread of hogweed at all costs.
D. Engaging in the protection of USSR assets, institutions, citizenry, and representatives abroad.
I.
Screening for and preventing mimetic or other cognito-hazardous contamination of the above ESB, such aiming to subvert key political, economic, or ideological goals abroad, or introduce such contagion within USSR territory.
E. Enacting cooperation with allied organizations outside USSR, chiefly national intelligence organizations departments concerned with abnormal occurrences of allied states, and psychotronics research organizations of allied states.
End of excerpt.
On language and terminology.
Codewords tied to specific organizations. SAC, SCP Foundation, organizational aims unknown, highly secretive organization rapidly increasing in scope and operation since the end of the Great Patriotic War. Bolivar, the Horizon Initiative, organizational aims directed towards furthering theocratic agenda at direct odds with the geopolitical interests of USSR and allied states. Disposed with significant amount of abnormal means generally styled as holy relics, or otherwise tied to the specific ideological precepts of the group, often at odds with their genuine origin. Alaric, SS Arnunab, organizational aims directed towards furthering the politics of the Third Reich and its geopolitical aims through use of abnormal means. Extinct. See document Wolfskin. Bosplan, the Factory. Organizational aims are directed towards manufacture and distribution of supernatural objects to the larger population.
Irregularly active appears to be more focused on reaching the consumer culture of the First World.
Boreai, the Fifth Church.
Organizational aims appear to dispersed and non-centralized, ideologically tied to concepts with space travel and the larger universe.
Cosmonaut training includes screening for persons associated with these beliefs. Caldera, Global Occult Coalition, established as a multinational organization under the shield of the UN,
organizational aims directed towards eliminating abnormal occurrences throughout non-membership countries, with tacit sub-goals of furthering Western geopolitical aims.
Engels.
Lomonosov Makarenko Institute for Scientific and Political Education. Organizational aims directed towards furthering the economic, ideological, and political development of the USSR through abnormal means applied often in unconventional and highly risky manner. Sporadic activity. Operates from unknown location from within USSR territory.
The self-reported location of Bolshoi Chemadansk, Soviet Socialist Republic of Kolpakstan, does not exist.
Herman Fuller's Circus of the Disquieting. Overview. Herman Fuller's Circus of the Disquieting is purported to be a circus of anomalous origin and purpose.
Currently, there is no evidence that this group exists beyond the allegations of various sapient SCPs and a handful of damaged non-anomalous artifacts. Most related objects typified by humanoid status utilize anomalous deformities for the sake of performance in some way, such as SCP-1884 and SCP-2902. Others appear to be typical fairground objects dart, such as SCP-1921, or take the form of attractions for the show, such as SCP-3717 or SCP-1695. The Horizon Initiative. Overview. The Horizon Initiative is an organization created in the late 1960s by various influential sects in the main three Abrahamic religions as a response to the growing number of anomalous activities and groups which they perceived as threats. Though the full extent of their goals is uncertain, the Horizon Initiative is known to target SCP objects, either with the intention of retrieving or destroying them, depending on each item's perceived place in their dogma. The initiative is led by a tribunal composed of leaders from the three largest sects involved in its creation, though a large amount of internal strife often leaves the official leadership in less than full control of the organization. The Hive's main combat force, Project Malleus, is generally deployed in anti-cult operations and in SCP retrieval operations. The initiative's relations with most other groups of interest and the Foundation seems to be in a state of constant flux. While all parts of the Hive perceive the Church of the Broken God and Fifth Church with a great degree of hostility and at times engaging them in armed conflict, sentiments toward the Foundation and the GOC vary greatly, from open hostility to a limited willingness to cooperate, depending on the internal affiliation of individual members.